Okay, so they say in the Indian teachings and this non-duality teachings is that the false self or the imaginary mind-made sense of me that we think we are is actually, which is the ego. It doesn't really exist. It's more like a construct that has a lot of ideas, memories, and trying and resisting. It's resisting, and the teaching. So don't believe me, but the teaching is that we are not that. We have never been that. We are. Our true identity is that which comes. That doesn't come and go, which is always present as the awareness, the aware presence, which hears, which is aware of the fear, which is aware of the resistance. So this aware presence is always present. However, it's invisible to us somehow. It feels like it's not there because we haven't been pointed in that direction, and all our training is about all kind of other shit. So also another tricky part is that this true identity, you can't pinpoint it. Say, oh yeah, here it is, because it's invisible. It's absolutely invisible and formless. It doesn't have a shape, doesn't have a color. However, it is that which is hearing these words right now and also understands them. It's the perceiver and the understander. Now, we have one of the deepest programs we have, and the society is aligned with that, and science is that, well, it is me perceiving, understanding, of course. But when they say me the body. It's me, the body, that is aware. And in the scientific paradigm, which whether we want it or not, or aware of it or not, we are conditioned by the scientific paradigm, according to which the universe is made of separate little atoms and building blocks, and there are all these many little shit somehow that mysteriously works together. It's all separate. And then at some point there are animals, and then some of more complex animals. At some point there's a brain, and then some of the more complex animals, the brain produces consciousness. So basically, we identify as the body, I'm a man, I'm a woman. And then, because we as the perceiver, the consciousness is identified as the body, then the body is going to die, and if something happens to the brain, it's going to work. So then there's a deep, repressed, hidden fear of the ending of me. And so that's and then because consciousness believes to be the body, now consciousness believes to be limited and perishable. So now there is fear and lack. So then we are trying all our life to navigate this fear of lack. We try to navigate it, we try to attain peace or happiness as imagining to be the body. So the way to do that, to navigate fear, is to try to control, to have security, safety, security. So to kind of have control, or to get the three tendencies of the false self, which is our true self believing to be the body. Presence, imagining that is a woman, as opposed to just pure presence. There are three tendencies that it does, is to try to control reality, control myself, control other people. Another thing is to get recognition or attention, and to get safety, security. Anyway, in these spiritual teachings that I guess you're coming to me here, so I'm aligned with this, and so, but don't believe it. Just believing it's another church thing that doesn't. I mean, it's good to be open to the possibility, but then try to contemplate and verify. Is that this consciousness or this presence is actually not dependent on the body. It is prior to the body. It's not that first there was the embryo and then there's this and then there's consciousness coming. No, there's consciousness, life, and then there's presence, which is actually not separate from everything else, not separate from other people, not separate from God. This sense of being separate is a conceptualization. Anyway, this consciousness truly, which is the regular consciousness, not some special consciousness some people have or I have where you need to meditate hard. No, this very thing which is perceiving the image of Mihai and hears these words. This is the real you. And yeah, it perceives through the cameras of the body, but is not the body. And it is indestructible. Never been born, can never die. The body is a vehicle. So if we were to deeply understand and verify this, we will be at peace and life will be great. Where would your problems be knowing that? Yeah. So this self-inquiry stuff, there will be some series of meditation which are starting with mindfulness and witnessing, because if you're full of thoughts and checked out, we can't do much. But there's more quiet mind and more present. Then there are a series of pointers to start to look, to turn our attention away from objects, away of phenomena. You know, you're aware of this voice, aware of Mihai, aware of this, but to turn it 180 and start to be interested in that which is aware of the phenomenon. What is that? What's the nature of that? How do I know it is limited? Where does it end? You know, so there are stuff like that, some pointers and exercises that by engaging in them, and if we are interested, they may trigger some, they call glimpses, trigger glimpses of our true nature, glimpses of what we really are. And those bring deep freedom and wisdom and insight. You might have already had glimpses, but I know it's about the nature of what you are. You have glimpses about what you are not and all kind of fake shit. Yeah?
In the middle of it, I felt, did we talk to it, empty full void?
Yeah, the emptifulness. So
that was incredible.
Which is there somehow. It's and that is that which is aware.
Yeah, it was completely without form, completely without judgment, completely without baggage.
Yeah, I had some glimpse of that. Now, coming back to many people on spiritual path, and also there's this, because all our ancestors and they try to survive. So part of there's an inbuilt wired-in program in consciousness as you get the body, it's in the body, is to survive. You know, so to continue the species, and it's a good thing. To live long enough to procreate, basically. So part of that survival, believing that we are mortal, it's very stressful. There's anguish, and so we inherited all of this anguish and grasping, which if you do other psychedelic journeys, you may be in touch with. To see there's some forces that are like a fist. They're trying to to not lose it, not poop the pants. Basically, it's like to not poop your pants. That's I explain that, but it's like which actually there's this pain body at the level of the thoughts, pain body at the level of feelings, but there's a gut level clenching, which is of a deep distrust, like the holding on to the thing if I were to let go. But this is so strong that you can't even let go because it requires more things.
Yeah.
As if something terrible will happen.
Yeah.
So that's this kind of control. So the one way to kind of more like less dramatically loosen this up is through understanding. And one thing is to understand that there is an illusion of control. This is a big illusion, meaning that we are doing nothing about what's happening right now. Basically, it's like the heart is pumping all of this perfectly, veins, arteries, and the right thing, the right pressure, and the immune system is doing all kind of stuff right now, and the liver is secreting the bile. So somehow it's always happening perfect by itself. We don't even aware of it, and so we're not controlling it. At the level of thought, if we say that we have control, it means that we were able to control our thoughts. But if you are really honest and just stay here and close your eyes, you have no idea what thoughts will come. There are thoughts are happening like bubbles. So the thoughts are appearing to you as awareness. There's no decider. Oh, I'm not going to have this thought. I mean, sometimes there are thoughts, and then there's other thoughts saying, no, this bullshit. But this is all happening, actually. So the thoughts are like a cosmic event. The thoughts are like the weather. First of all, they are not personal, and thoughts come and they go. There's no decider. Because if you were to be able to this ability to decide, you will only have happy thoughts, right? So now, our decisions, they come first as in the form of the thought. Like when you decide to come to me, or when you decided you can't stay there, or you decided to marry Gabe. So all the decisions are as a thought. So the thoughts happen to us, the decisions are happening. So there is no control. Basically, it's an illusion of control. So just pondering on that opens the possibilities. Now the thoughts, another thing is that, okay, so how come that some people are happier, some people are torturing themselves? So the thoughts are like the weather, but depends on where's the degree of consciousness of the person. So the degree of consciousness is lower. Once consciousness is in the energy field of, let's say, depression, hopelessness, they are going to be very depressed thoughts and depressed feelings. When one is in something like a serial killer, then it's going to be this hatred and destruction. And so it's like our consciousness is like a radio that is tuned to some channel. And let's say like 5,000 feet, there are certain flowers and certain kind of wind, and at 20,000 feet, there's something else. So we have the thoughts according to our level of consciousness, but still they are happening. By deprogramming and doing this conscious work, you're changing a level of consciousness, and then you'll have different thoughts, different feelings, and stuff like that. Anyway, it's actually life works much better as this false identity is trying to control God, control reality. We spend so much energy, and actually, the more we do this work, and also the more you realize that, another thing, that the consciousness that is aware right now, and I'm recording this because it's a lot of stuff we can listen to. We think it's personal. We think that, okay, there is this consciousness that is not the thoughts. There is this presence which is aware of thoughts and feelings. It's not thoughts and feelings. You probably verified this to some degree. The anxiety came when I is this presence with me. None of this scratched. this presence raped, didn't, nothing.
Yeah.
There's still the assumption that this presence is personal. It's a female, or is a certain age, or whatever. But these teachings, they say that actually this presence, actually it is God's presence. So it's actually God or source that expresses itself in the form of Heidi, just like the source expresses itself in the form of a cat or of daffodils. So there's the one energy, so there's one substance, one energy that takes many shapes, but there's just one consciousness. So these teachings, they say that consciousness that is aware right now is not a woman, it's not dependent on the body, and it's not limited, it's not finite. So therefore, it's universal. Meaning that in these teachings, they have this term, they call it Atman is Brahman. I don't know the word of this, but in Indian teachings. Atman is the name they use for the higher self or for the presence. Atman. Brahman is the name they use for God. Like God, seemingly God out there, there's some God out there, God the Absolute. So these Indian teachings, what we are trying to verify here, or part of awakening is to realize that Atman is Brahman. God is His presence. And so therefore, if it is installed as safe, doesn't need to control things. There's deep intelligence in it. You already get in touch with that now, get out there. So that knows, the spiritual knows that because we have inbuilt in us, we are made for this place.
Yeah.
And there is the compass, the GPS, it's not personal. It's, so basically, the more one understands these things, the more one will feel like a fish in the water. And then things are spontaneously happening, good things are happening by itself because I don't hold in mind negative things. Another principle here of manifestation that sometimes they even use it, this law of attraction, whatever. There's some truth in that. That we are infinite being, divine infinite being, only subject to what I hold in mind. Different teachings and religions speak about that. So if I believe I'm unworthy and that life is hard, then this creates. So here you go. Life is hard and I'm unworthy. If I believe I deserve of love and this or that, then here you go. Here's that. So it's some kind of inbuilt genie that we are not aware of.
That makes sense of why I feel really quickly connected to people.
Yeah.
And I've always been like an instant, it's weird.